As a man, there's a lot of expectations of you in life, especially in sexual performance.
Yeah.
So what are some of the dangers of that? What are some ways of dealing with that? Like, how do you get around that?
Yeah. Good question.
Thanks.
For guys, there is all this socialization that you're supposed to want it all the time, be rock hard immediately before anything even starts, not need any assistance getting there, right? That any lack of ability to perform is, a reflection of your manhood and virility and all those things. So, oh my gosh, you've just got so much on your shoulders when it comes to that. And so then the first sign of erectile dysfunction and, people pretty much freak out. And of course that is not gonna help anything. What do I do if it does? And also, again, goes into, really affects the self-esteem and sense of competence and sense of mastery in the bedroom, which, all, especially again, because of male socialization, is really problematic.
Those are some dangerous expectations.
I know.
I know.
That's
so
not
true.
healthy.
What happens when a man starts to feel pressure?
Well, a lot of things can happen, and one of them is that they can really withdraw from their partner and, kind of avoid sex, avoid even talking about sex, and, tend to sort of make excuses or rebuff their partner when they initiate sex. And then, that can also start, again, that dynamic where then the partner just feels like they're always the one that has to initiate and that they start feeling rejected. And so a lot of kind of effects can kind of tumble out of that pressure. I think we can all agree that pressure is not sexy. So even like the interpersonal pressure, feeling like your partner has these expectations of you that you're disappointing, and that's not a turn on for most people. There's kind of some relational pressure, and then there's that societal pressure that, does come from male socialization, which not being vulnerable, right? Being strong all the time, not showing a lot of emotion, taking charge, right? So it's tough in, a sexual situation where you're used to kind of being able to, perform and do exactly what you want in the moment, and then not having that same sense of feeling of control, is very difficult for guys who are taught that they need to be in control all the time. The other thing about ED that's so hard is it's so non-volitional. It's like we're so used to being able to kind of control our bodies, and you just can't control your penis in that way, especially when you're struggling with ED. So that feels really vulnerable for a lot of guys because, again, they're sort of given these messages that they need to be in control all the time, and here's this thing they can't control. That's very important. So those are just some of the, kind of aspects of male socialization I think that do come into play here. Here I am trying to encourage people to communicate more, to be sort of more accepting of, I prefer to call erectile dysfunction erectile fluctuation, and I think it can be fluctuation, but only if you can allow it to be fluctuation. So if you get all freaked out by not having an erection when you expect to have one, then it's going to be really hard to recover from that. But if you have an attitude that is a little softer, maybe less typically male socialized, that's a little bit more relaxed about it, and also where you can allow some vulnerability and say to your partner, I think he's being a little moody right now. He might need a little help, or like we might need to give it a minute, and and see if things kind of pop back up again. Versus kind of being the strong silent type. Then you're probably going to have a better outcome.